It was a shocker, but it was a happy shocker for those in Happy Valley wearing white. A whiteout at Penn State, and Penn State's defense and offense and special teams wiped out the Buckeyes in the fourth quarter, coming back from 14 down, 21-7 to win it over the Buckeyes, number 2 team in the country, 24-21. Mark Rogers TV with the instant analysis. And this is more about the future and what this game means than necessarily our breakdown of how it happened. But the way it happened was that we could see this coming from the Ohio State offense in recent weeks. After exploding against Oklahoma on the road, Ohio State has been sluggish on the offensive side of the ball, especially in the passing game. Not much protection for J.T. Barrett. Wide receivers not being able to separate from defensive backs, not being able to go over top of the defense. A lot of dink and dunk attempts by the Ohio State offense to Mike Weber, checks downs to Curtis Samuel, just 8 and 10-yard plays, and Ohio State with the inability, surprisingly, to go over the top and burn defenses with its speed. So that was the Ohio State passing game early. Then they started to find a rhythm. They got things going. And on 2 consecutive scoring drives, J.T. Barrett hit 8 of 8, and then he hit 3 of 6. But those 3 big pass plays worked in favor of the Buckeyes as they broke out to a early lead in this ball game. Trace McSorley, with his legs, started to get things going for Penn State late in the first half. They put together one drive against the Ohio State defense, but otherwise the Buckeyes dominant for the most part on defense in the first half and the third quarter. Let's get to the important part. Ohio State led this game at 21-7. The offense not scintillating, but getting the job done at that point, but mostly defense and Penn State's ineffectiveness on offense. Garrett Sickles, a defensive end, back in the ball game after being suspended for the first half. That was key for the Penn State pass rush. It was guys like Jason Kabinda, Evan Schwan, Kevin Givens, and Sickles, and others that put the heat on J.T. Barrett. Ohio State's offensive line has issues. Again, we've seen this coming in recent weeks, and the Buckeyes have not been able to fix the problems. The defense has masked the offensive issues in recent weeks. But Penn State, credit this team, a 20-point underdog, down by a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter, gets a blocked field goal, a blocked punt, which set up a score to make it 21-17. Then the blocked field goal by Marcus Allen. And what an effort by Allen, the veteran safety who just exploded into the line, really pushed back the offensive front in the interior, blocked the field goal that would have given Ohio State the 7-point lead. Grant Haley picked up the football in stride, raced it all the way for the game-deciding touchdown. Ohio State got the football back. They were able to convert some plays. J.T. Barrett was amazing in this game. Forget the stat line. He was amazing. He faced a huge pass rush. His offensive line was outmanned. He had no threat downfield in the passing game. Wide receivers were not separating. He got things done with his legs, both converting in terms of runs downfield, but also keeping plays alive to get the passes off. He converted 2 tight first downs in which he had to thread the needle, but then Penn State's pass rush was too much, pushed him back into a 4th and 23, and that was the end of the ball game with another sack from Schwan and Givens to end the game. Okay, what does this mean? First, for Ohio State, of course, this is detrimental in a huge way to their chances of making the college football playoff to a certain extent, but let's look at it as well based on who's ahead. Nebraska, a top 10 team, and most notably Michigan. So the Ohio State-Michigan game will still probably, if the Buckeyes can correct some of these issues, if they can't, it's a non-factor because they'll most likely lose to somebody or to Michigan or both. This could be a multiple loss team by the end of the season if they don't clean up the offense. Their defense is really good, but it can't be that good. But if Ohio State, with the talent that they have, pull it together, they play Michigan the last game of the season, that is still, if the Buckeyes clean it up, going to determine the Eastern Division champion. Ohio State moves on to the Big Ten Championship with 1 loss. So all is not lost for Ohio State. But let's focus on Penn State most significantly. James Franklin, in his 3rd season, was 0-4, 0-4-7 against ranked teams. And Penn State just didn't beat number 25 or number 20 or number 12. It was number 2 in the nation, a team that had won 20 consecutive true road games under Urban Meyer, the gold standard in the Big Ten, and one of the gold standards in college football nationally. Okay, this was a huge win for the program of Penn State. James Franklin has come in. He has recruited top 15 talent, but that top 15 talent has not crystallized on the field to sway those 500 records and push Penn State to challenge the likes of Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State until maybe tonight. Or maybe Michigan's just that much better this season than everyone else in the Big Ten. So Franklin gets the huge win, but is it a program builder? Only time will tell. Upstarts defeat huge teams from time to time, and then it dies from there. Penn State, of course, has the resources, the recruiting base, the money, and the players in place at certain positions, like we saw with Trace McSorley at quarterback, one of the best running backs in the nation, and Saquon Barkley, excellent wide receiver core, and an upstart defense that's been ravaged by injuries, but is much better than what they had shown before the Ohio State game. So if they can build upon this needs to be a stepping stone. This can't be the end of the line, or it's just a monumental win, much like Georgia Tech in a 3-9 season defeated Florida State. Huge for Penn State, not the end of the road for Ohio State. Need to hear from you now on Mark Rogers TV.